we know.
Oh,
Hello
do we?
and welcome back to Crypto Saving Expert, the show where we discuss the latest cryptocurrency news and introduce you to the pioneers and the founders of the space. Today, I'm very kindly joined by Rebecca and Rupert from VALA. Thanks for joining us today. We have lots to go through. We had Daniel on from Swissborg yesterday as well. So it only makes sense to have you guys on right after. But we'll get into that. But first off, if we could have some more information on you guys, Rebecca, I'd love to start with you.
Yeah. Well, thanks so much for having us here. We're very excited. We're very excited for our partnership with Swissborg. We're excited to talk to you.
Perfect. Thank you. And sorry.
Sorry, I think there was a little delay on the feed there, but yeah, thanks very much for having us on the show. We're delighted to be here and talk a little bit more about VALA and let the community know what we've got lined up.
Yes.
Awesome.
Sorry.
No worries. Let's get right into this. So your experience going into Web3, I've seen that you've got a packed team and advisors from TikTok, Coinbase, Google, Binance, Solana. Can you tell us a little bit more about your team and also your own experience and journey into Web3?
Sure. Look, from my perspective, I've been building businesses for a long time, and I had a really, kind of hairy experience with the business going back into kind of 2015 into 2016. And that experience taught me a lot about finance, and it taught me a lot about how much I didn't know about finance and how woefully unprepared I was to actually manage the kind of issues that I was facing. And I kind of thought it didn't seem that complicated. And I actually thought that I could do a lot better than a lot of the guys over in East London, Canary Wharf were doing. It didn't seem like a complicated thing. So I spent best part of a year researching, and that's what led me into crypto in 2016, buying my kind of first assets then. And then started a business called the Crypto Crowd, which was using crowd wisdom to identify a pool of assets and put those assets back to our community. So we built a huge community of around 70,000 users. And in 2018, the first crash that I went through, we pivoted that business to a regulated financial tech business, which was pretty tough, but we did it nonetheless. And then we in 2021, I exited that business. I got deep into the Solana ecosystem. I built a DeFi insurance platform called Amulet with a great team around me, and I exited out of that business last year before doing a little bit of work with Solana Foundation directly. And then my co-founder Rad, who unfortunately couldn't join us right now, he contacted me earlier on this year and said, "Hey, I built this Web3 exchange. We should do something about it." And when we were kind of researching about that, we recognized a whole bunch of the other issues in the industry is that we don't need another exchange. What we need is another way of getting more people into the industry. And that's where VALA came out of.
Ah, brilliant. And Rebecca, if you could go through your journey and how you came to be the CMO of VALA as well, that would be great.
Absolutely. Yeah. Sorry. I actually realized I had my, I had the live YouTube going on. So I was like, why do I hear an echo of myself? But so I got into crypto in my first exposure in 2016. And, I had the pleasure of working with some early Ethereum co-founders. So proper visionaries. And I really kind of got I got bit really at that time with the crypto bug, but I wasn't ready to make the full leap. So in 2018, I was working for a marketing agency and working with Richemont Group, which is the second largest luxury conglomerate. And we were like, okay, how can we include blockchain in this kind of in this watch launch? So I worked with some folks from Consensus and developed like a prototype for the watch to ship with an ER721 AR filter. It was too soon, right? But it didn't ship. But in end of 2020, when I saw that NFTs were kind of kicking back up again, I jumped in full steam. Worked with Maluma and Messi and a bunch of other great IPs on token strategy and community building and literally everything from like the sale and utility and when metaverse was a really big narrative. And then I had the pleasure of working with a crypto finance firm, one of the largest prop trading firms. Worked on some consumer facing financial products, and then actually in the last, this was like late last year, got looped into helping some meme coin projects with working with influencers and creators and on their TikTok strategy to reach more distribution. And when I aligned with Rupert and Rad with what they're working on with VALA, I'm like, there's so much potential here. You know, Web3 is kind of fundamentally broken from a distribution standpoint. None of these channels really work for Web3, and especially if you're doing video content. And unfortunately, you know, based on my market research and customer surveys, you know, Gen Z, this kind of next wave, right? Like college age kids and above that know they want to be crypto millionaires. They know they need to invest in crypto. They don't love X, and the way they like to consume content is short format video. So we're kind of in a little bit of a tough place where there's not a platform that exists that houses content like that in a format that's digestible. And you mentioned earlier some of our advisors. You know, TikTok is obviously a huge part of our strategy, and we're very fortunate to have internal team members who have used amazing strategies very recently, gaming the TikTok algorithm and UGC to drive customers from TikTok onto third-party external platforms. And we think that this is a very strong strategy that will work with our customers, especially the new customers. So we're obviously starting with Web3. We you know, want to welcome everyone who's crypto native, but our target is the crypto curious, right? The folks that they get confused with the wallet and they don't know what to buy, and there's so much noise on X and kind of Telegram. And I mean, we know we're in the trenches, and it can be scary for us. So that's kind of the genesis of VALA and my role here.
And you know, going back to Genesis and you know, coming together, creating it, why now?
That's a good question. I mean, look, we see this content being generated, and we see people hacking platforms together in order to try and get more visibility, you know, for their pump.fun tokens. And you see kind of wild and wacky stuff where people like shaving their eyebrow, and or if a token gets to a certain valuation. But we think that that's really like the kind of tip of the iceberg, and what it, you know, creators are trying to do now to kind of get a hold of the platforms and the opportunities that are out there. What the real opportunity is in the future is unlocking true social value, right? So it's the idea that my thoughts and my anything that I can come across or create has value if I share it, right? So if I have a bit of an insight on something and I share that information on VALA, I, as a creator, are going to be rewarded for sharing that information. I am going to share in the exchange fees, the tip fees, the any of the transactional costs that have generated on the platform. I, as a creator, share in, and that's super valuable. And that's something that you know, other social platforms don't share. You know, you share all this content, and they say, "Oh, you're going to become famous," but actually, the value that you get out of it is really retained inside those traditional centralized platforms, and that's not something that we're trying to build at VALA in the slightest. We are here for the creators and for the users to learn and transact or action quicker.
Brilliant. And I've got here, you know, regarding guerrilla offline to online campaigns in college campuses around the world. Could you expand a little bit on that? Because I've got to admit that's gone slightly over my head as well. But yeah, you could go a little bit further into detail with that. That would be great.
Yeah. So from a growth hacking perspective, it's going to be very challenging to break outside of the noise. And the 18 to kind of 21 segment, or call it 25 segment, are much more likely to share content, to sign up friends. They're the reason why Snapchat streaks work so well. So for us, like doing a offline college campus ambassador program, right, where we retain college students. They become part of the VALA army. They're spreading the gospel. They're signing up folks. We've got kind of games and campaigns for them globally. Obviously, we're not targeting the US. We're targeting other colleges around the world. This for us has been we've gotten great reception on this so far. This is already something that we're kind of setting up the foundation for, just because they're much more receptive. They want to learn, and they want to learn from each other. And so we really want to take advantage of the network effects of this age demographic, because listen, I mean, when you get a little bit older, you're like, do I need another app? Do I want to share it? Like the friction and resistance. Yes, so much greater, which is why TikTok went, grew so quickly, right? Is like part of their kind of age demographic targeting. And then of course what happens is when everyone sees hype, then you're like, oh, I guess I need to create an account on that. And you kind of cave in. But we also imagine like the crypto natives, right? Because there's such a great market sentiment analysis, right? You get a really good timely sense of what's going on, what are people talking about as you're flipping through. We imagine this will become a pretty crucial arsenal in folks kind of trading tech stack, if you will.
Yeah.
Amazing. And, you've also set out to help KOLs and creators alike, especially within Solana communities. What are some of the ways that you will be able to get KOLs, creators involved, and also, the Solana community, which is a lot of people listening in right now, because I've got to admit, I'm a Solana maxi.
So are we. So part of it is that as this kind of new distribution platform, we have lots of areas to play around. So one, if you're a KOL, right, like you can monetize your content instantly. So if you're an emerging KOL, someone who wants to create content, you're just getting started, if you're making content that converts, and that just means people are buying and selling through it, that means that you're going to get paid because we can share in on those fees as a rev share, right? And then additionally, if you are a Solana project, it's amazing for you because like one, who doesn't want more distribution? And two, we have really amazing kind of areas of the app that are specifically targeted to kind of like, here's a new Web3 gaming drop for a Solana game project, or, here's another free mint that's kind of coming up, or here's something new that's with the community, right? Here's an event, Bonk does IRL events at EDC, right? There are people that in crypto that don't hear about these things. And if crypto native people don't know that Bonk is spending boatloads doing multi-year EDC activations, then something's broken, right? Because if it's not reaching, if it's not pervasive in Web3, then how are new people seeing it? They're not. And so that's, I think, the key kind of the key enticing factor for, this is very helpful for KOLs and creators, especially that want to monetize with no threshold. How hard it is to grind, X and YouTube and all these other platforms to get to that monetization threshold. It's not easy, and it's only getting harder. So for us, this is kind of like not necessarily a replacement for those things, but is an addition, right? Is like reaching new people, kind of being this destination for the aggregator of Web3 content, and a place to post and a place to monetize.
Nice.
And there's a few other benefits to that. Sorry, just to round off, it's just like you have a few opportunities to access a new social network, and that newness, it rubs off after a short amount of time. And it's the opportunity for the KOLs now to be able to stamp their mark and take their ownership and say, okay, this is a platform that really works, and this really works for me, without having to lose other platforms, as Rebecca said. We are a complement to the arsenal rather than a replacement. But we want to grow a new community, and we want to grow the followings of the KOLs that come on board with fresh people and fresh blood into the industry.
Yeah. Amazing. I think, like you mentioned there, a lot of people, they don't give the opportunity to the emerging talent, but, I see it in our community as well. There's some people on the rise, but like Rebecca said, they haven't reached the threshold where they can monetize it yet. So for those, it's nice to give everyone the chance. Let's talk about the product. How can, if there perhaps people listening in would like to get involved, sign up for the beta. How does the product work, and how can they get involved right now?
Sure. So, I mean, look, the best thing to do is obviously to join our community, and there's links on our Twitter straight through to the Discord. And the closer you get to the team, and the quicker you can get into the community. And next month, we're planning on launching the closed beta, and we really want feedback from people. That's the real opportunity to go, hey, this is not how I would use this app. This is how I would use it, and this is how it would be a lot better for people like me. And that unlocks a lot more information for us, and we can make those changes before we actually go live out to the public. And of course, by being part of the journey so early on, means that you gain so much more later in all of the airdrops and the prizes and that kind of stuff that we're looking to do. And obviously, as I'm sure Rebecca will go on to talk about, is the VALA. VALA questing platform that we got up here on screen.
VALA Voyage.
And you know, what is the vision beyond memes, Solana coins to NFTs, game skins? What are some of these, you know, further visions for VALA there as well?
Yeah, so look, for us as a platform, it's very important that we don't stay exclusively inside Web3, because as we've already mentioned earlier on, like, we want to bring in the new blood. Web2, you know, the traditional social media giants are actually the ones that we're going to be taking on and taking, you know, essentially share of their market and bringing them into those users into Web3. So we really look at this as a stepping stone. Yeah, we're going to have you know, Web3 projects talking about the opportunities and educating the Web3 community in what's able to be done with their assets. That's our initial, you know, first couple of quarters. But by midway through next year, we're really changing tack, heading very focused on Web2 influencers and onboarding them into the community in order to leverage their communities, but also leverage their knowledge and content, and as we like to say, unlock their true social value. Although I don't know how many times I should be saying that during this session. I should find some other taglines to put in there.
But also, I'll add on to that, right? Because, you know, when I think of even the kind of like fast, the fast kind of growth into Solana games, right? Web3 games. These companies are constantly looking for new players and new users, and they have unlimited digital assets to give away, whether it's a skin or like a rare item. And for us, like, it would be incredible as part of our kind of you know, as people collect points on the platform and accrue kind of a value, like, of tokens on the platform as well. They can also trade in those things for game skins, because it's just a mutually beneficial cycle, right? People learn about the game, they can get a new user. So like, we really want to kind of spread that love of all the customer acquisition grinding that we're going to be doing for the platform, that we can obviously create innovative strategies or just kind of compelling partnerships, right, to then drive those interested users to other Web3 products so they can explore everything. One thing I want to add, because I was talking with someone about this yesterday, and we were talking about how Web3 and crypto is so, they're factions. You've got the DeFi factions, and they don't play with the NFT faction, and you got the Web3 gaming faction. And it's like, oh my gosh, if we're, you know, if this is how we exist right now, like, we need to kind of be like, okay, we need to come together. And it's like, if you're in one of those tribes, you don't hear about anyone else's stuff. Hence the bonk, you know, like there's the meme coin, I suppose, tribe. So like, we really want to change that, of like, bring it all together, be this kind of one-stop shop. You can go down whatever path you choose, and kind of, you know, your algorithm that we have, your content algorithm will kind of, you'll be able to train it obviously over time, so you'll get kind of served what you want, but we'll still have, like, you know, our product will still be able to kind of show you on like the explore page some things that are unique and different. And I think that this is just going to cause a lot more discovery and community building and cross community building than we've got today.
Yeah, amazing. And you mentioned earlier about Swissborg. I think there's a lot of people in the chat right now. They're keen to know how they can get involved, how they can hold VALA. How is the process going to go down with Swissborg? Could you give us a little bit of alpha there, please?
Sure, yeah, absolutely. Well, Rebecca, you take it.
Okay, well, I just want to say that so we've got the Swissborg Sale on Wednesday, September 4th. There are a few different vaults that we're going to have. So the first vault starts at 2 p.m. Central European time. There are a few ways to get. We've got a 5 to 15% additional airdrop on top of your contribution and participation. So if you want the 15% tier, which is obviously the greatest, you could become a VALA VIP, and that's finishing the VALA voyage, which we have on the screen. So not only will you start your voyage to earning a portion of 10 million plus in prizes and airdrops in this campaign, but you'll also be whitelisted for the Swissborg Sale that goes live. Their last sale sold out in 2 hours. So this is definitely something you want to get in on. Got to get that Swissborg ID. There's a link in the VALA Voyage. There's a link on our Twitter. I'm sure we'll put a link in the show notes here. So if you don't have a Swissborg ID, sign up through those steps. There are a few steps. It'll probably take 24 hours. So don't wait. Do it before Wednesday, so we're not scrambling.
I agree. You know, got to get in there quick, guys. If you are looking for more information as well, guys, those who are CSE Plus members, reach out to myself. I can speak with the team there as well, and we can solve any issues or any queries, questions you have coming up to the sale there as well. But perhaps if we could go into a little bit more detail about the token VALA. You know, what utility and what incentives are there for the users to hold VALA?
Sure. So I think one of the best incentives around holding VALA is what we call infinite airdrops. So when you hold VALA token, you stake it on through the VALA platform, and that gains you access to every single token that's created on VALA. So one of the things that we've added into the platform is the ability to create your own token very easily. So as a creator coming on, you can also have a token, for CSE, for example. And so as a VALA holder, staking it on the platform, you get a little moon bag of every single one of those that's created. And these are, we're expecting thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands to be created over time. And look, if you imagine on Pump.Fun, if you had like a little bit of every single one that was created there, you don't know which one's going to go to the moon, but you have a little bit, and it's gonna work really well for you. So that's our way of giving back to the community. So that's the core kind of utility that everybody loves. But you can also use VALA to tip people, and a lot of the transactions that happen in the background of VALA actually utilize the VALA token, and also in order to make the transfer happen. So there's a lot of mechanisms that are being used with that token to keep it active and buoyant, and a useful utility token within inside the platform.
Amazing. It's very well put there. Like you said, if you had a small percentage of everything that launched on Pump Fun, you're onto a winner there. Really cool what you guys are doing for people there. We mentioned already the $10 million airdrop there. But perhaps if you have anything else to add before we end up the stream today. But like I said, anyone in the comments, if you have any questions now, put them through, or perhaps DM me on Discord, and I will get those answered for you guys.
So last thing I'll say, last thing I'll say is, like, if you're an emerging KOL or you want to start creating content and earn and monetize your first video, please hit us up, join our Discord. We've got roles there. You can go and sign up for the quest, which obviously is a great way to get involved and get an airdrop and become part of the VALA community. Definitely, if you are a partner and you're on Solana, we would love to talk to you. And anyone, I think just any like-minded individuals. We really, really want this to be kind of like a community, not only a community building event for us, but as we said, crypto's so PvP right now. It's how do we change this? It's rough.
PvP we've got a way forward. Player pump player.
We've got to come together a little bit more as a community. I had a conversation yesterday about how AI kind of took the spotlight away from crypto and blockchain technology, and so as an industry, the only way that people know about us now is when Bitcoin is rallying and the ETH ETF and these kind of things. But there's so much more going on. We know that there's so much more going on. So we really have to bind together in order to actually get this out into the public eye and help people make real generational wealth. You're not making money if you're investing in property now. You're not making money if you're investing in oil. You're not making money if you're investing in almost all traditional kind of quote unquote safe assets, because inflation is so high around the world that it wipes everything out. And so we've got the best opportunity to be able to help people around the world and really help people. And obviously, yes, that benefits us, but it really benefits the people on the end of it in a big way. So if we can bring these people together, we can bring projects together, we can, our community, the Swissborg community, we can build a better product and get it out into more people's hands.
Yeah.
Amazing.
I'll add one last thing to this. I'm sorry, I had to, just because we were going through the numbers, right? Just one more thing. So, because I mean, the Swissborg Alpha deal is true alpha, right? It's like if
Yeah.
you invested $500 in TikTok seed round, that would be worth over 15 million today. If you saw Farcaster raise 150 million at $1 billion valuation with just thousands of daily active users. So if you didn't get in on those deals and you want to get in on a deal, you use social media, you create content or know people that create content, VALA is a great opportunity for exposure. And we use AI. AI is obviously a huge part of our platform as well.
Everybody uses AI.
Everybody uses AI, but AI is obviously a robust thing. We've got a cool robot. So, just don't sleep on this alpha deal. We want you as part of the community, and it's something that's pretty significant value.
Yeah.
Amazing. Rebecca, Rupert, thank you for joining us today. Guys, if you're wanting to check it out, head over to their Twitter, Trade VALA. You can also join their Discord if you have any questions. Thank you for your time as well. I know this last week before launch must be absolutely crazy for you guys. Before the vaults going live. Must be absolutely crazy. So I really do appreciate your time as well, being able to discuss and go through with our community. But just wanted to say to the community, guys, go follow them on Twitter. Any questions, join their Discord, reach out to me as well, and keep an eye on the 4th of September, guys. You've got to be quick. Thank you, guys. Have an amazing rest of your day. Take care.
Thank you.
Thanks.